Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adopters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat and I'll do a couple of hellos? Emma G, the wonderful, was in first. Steve Cray second. Roy Herbert's going for a third. Hargerto, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I seen on down that you've changed the count from before, but yeah, very welcome for your first live. Just came in from Sansom's live. Perfect. You'll like that stuff. Who else is in? Did I skip people? Ugly Truth, Paka, Paranormal X Channel, welcome aboard. The Spanish Chickens are here. Bass, what about you, chum? Special K on acid. The Streak Bacon. Eleanor Whimsy. Steve Cray. Spanish Chickens, Kittens are all good. Audio Proper Strong One. Sheridan Light, thank you very much, my friend. Paka, Steve Cray, Spanish Chicken, Heard to Audio. Rob D, what about you, chum? Evening, brother Anglo. Edmund 184. Linda Hunter's in. Anglo heard to James Taylor, what about you? Don Browning, I'm from down under. And 77 Brigades in, so we'll be all kept nice and safe. This is all going good. No madness so far, and we're a whole 3 minutes in. Now, first thing I'm going to do is, there's Martin W. has just arrived in. First thing I'm going to do is the housekeeping, but my Telegram has been all weird. Here we go. Perfect. On Saturday at 7 p.m., Ragnar Iron Spear channel, Rags and Jack will have Gran Torino on as a guest. That should be a good one. Then at 8:30 after Rags and Jack, you can head over to Williams' channel. That's Life But Not As We Know It, who is, I believe, in the chat for a Relentless Concern live stream. You've also got the option of John Davison, who streams 9 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays as and when he's up to it, because he's got health issues, but I believe he is getting better. And the other one I'd like to give a shout out to is the wonderful Dave's Waffle House. Dave is currently out enjoying himself at the Blue Bear Festival in his local town, and I'm going to be getting Dave on to talk about that. But obviously not tonight because he's actually attending the event. But that's going to happen possibly next week or the week after, something like that. It is coming up. Oh, Emma G, who is very rarely wrong, correctly, it is a strawberry. Brie, evening. Ludwig, what about you, Sean? Parent, Flat Earth. There is stuff about the Flat Earth coming up. We've got clips that nobody has seen before that we got chopped out of last week's stream, which is now only available on Bitchute, and we're going to be seeing that shortly. Peter Benton's in. Packet it, even brother. I'm not sure if I say hello to you or not. Ludwig. Martin W. did say hello to you. I will pull up your actually, I'll do Steve Cray's one. The mud flood stream. Yes, we're going to be looking at that in a wee minute. Just want to get there and check the comments. Boss is finding €100. Excellent. Well, that's a find. How do you go? Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Although the dog was suffering, so it's hard to know whether it's for the best or not. But it's a big loss. I'm really sorry to hear that. Dave, if you watch us back, much love, brother, and I would say the right words, but there are no such thing as the right words. Slim, what about you, chum? Peter Benton, I think I said hello to you, but right. We need something to lift the mood. Yes. The other thing I need to address is last week we had a bit of an argument on here. Evening, Phil. We had a bit of an argument on here about flat Earth, mud floods, all sorts of stuff. It got a little bit, spicy. What I can say is I have spoke to our pal since then, and we're all good. I haven't managed to talk to Tony Baloney, but I believe he's okay as well. Yes, give us a D in the chat for Dave's Waffle House. Good call, Emma. Yeah, Mud Light. But yes, so what I will say is, as funny as it was, and it was very funny, I would rather not have that stuff again. I'm just going to let these days scroll through, and then I'm going to put up the on-scene bits from it that I managed to clip out. And people be advised this is subtitled because the language gets a bit quick and whatnot, so try to read the subtitles. Anyway, to sum everything up, this is what happened last week.
Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow. Und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg, Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
Mein Führer, Steiner konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodel, Krebs und Butter. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer sind Sie, dass Sie es wagen, sich meinen Befehl zu widersetzen? Oh, weit ist das also gekommen. Der Militär hat mich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie
Nicht
verbringen...
als Feiglinge! Verreiter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmolz des deutschen Volkes! Sie ist ohne Ehre! Sie nennen sich Generale, weil Sie Jahre auf Militärakademien zugebracht haben, nur um zu lernen, wie man Messer und Gabel hält! Jahrelang hat das Militär meine Aktionen nur behindert. Es hat mir jeden nur gegen Widerstand in den Weg gelegt. Ich hätte gut daran getan, um darin alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin. Ich war nie auf einer Akademie. Und doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt, ganz Europa erobert. Verräter! Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden. Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen. Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen. Sie werden es saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte gerne. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
So there you go. There is all the on-scene footage from last week's show. And I hope you enjoyed. Oh, well, thank you, Steve. Thanks, Anglo. Some says I've got it right. That's about... Special camera, asset likes it. Yes, we're all good. So there you go. If our pod drops in later, I might have to play that again. Yeah, well, I'm going to send them a link to the show and tell them to check it about 10 minutes in. So there you go. The Earth is not a frisbee. All right. Nah, not that said and done. I'm going to have a look and see if we can get into some actual historical British content. And what I'm going to do is I'm looking at the first currently registered kings and queens of England. So it was almost as funny as first time round. Right. So here's where we're starting at. Right. We're starting around the 800s. As I go through this stuff, you'll start to see why it's starting there. But anyway, at 802, England had King Edward, who was a Saxon, followed by Ethelbert in 839. 843, Kenneth I MacAlpin, who was a Pict, was the King of Scotland. Roderick Moore the Great was the King of Wales, and Ireland at that time did not have a king. Ireland, as with pretty much everything else, is a bit complicated. However, talk about the first king of Ireland. Okay, and what Ireland was doing about that time. By 841 AD, Dublin was founded as a Viking trading post. The Vikings and Celts battled each other, and with the Vikings holding the upper hand to around 900 AD. However, the Celts also did battle against other Celts in their spare time, trying to increase their power base. Bran Brew, who was the king of Munster, did battle with the Southern Eagles and with the aid of Viking allies in the Battle of Clontarf near Dublin, April 1014, when they routed the enemy. However, their king was killed and the dream of a high king of the island was lost. So Ireland had no king of the entire island. They had different tribes that each had their own king. Into this mess marched the Normans, who took the east coast towns, displacing the Vikings, and in 1171 they took Dublin. Henry II came to Dublin and received the submission of not only the Normans but the Celtic kings. So Henry II would have been the first king of all of Ireland. That's when the English crown became sovereign in Ireland, and this relationship would eventually be formalised by the Act of Union in the 1800s. So we've got that. So that's where we're starting off with all our kings. That's about it. Right, sorry, I was just checking the chat. Now, obviously we had people and organizations, settlements and stuff long before that. And what I'm going to pull up now is yeah, we'll see when that's going to happen. Not quite sure. Right, so I'm going to use a little bit of a video here. Just, it could have been a lot more organized with us. All right. 1 second, I get this video. All right, one momento, and I shall be right with you. Try pressing the right button for it. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to take us to here. Back to StreamYards. But who actually are the Irish? If you mean do you mean the Celtic invaders? Screen. Right. Here we go. Right. Now, I'm going to shoot.
We will say words of wisdom. We will say for all time. We will say.
Right. You've all seen all these pictures before, but I'm going to just go through what they are and their dates. So that is the Giant's Ring, Belfast, Northern Ireland, and that was built at 2700 BC.
For our people, harmony, melody, and pride. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing for all time.
Right. This is the obvious one that everybody won't recognize. That's Stonehenge, Salisbury Plain, England, 2400 BC.
We'll sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody.
Right. That is Castlereagh Stone Circle, Keswick, England, from 3000 BC. You all see the point of this. Stinton Druce, Circles and Cove, England, 2500 BC. Petre Ifan, Pembrokeshire, Wales, also known as the Welsh Stonehenge, 3500 BC.
Tribe, the gods of water, air, and land brought us through the land.
Hillstern Carn and Stone Row, Dartmoor, England, 1750 BC.
The earth in which the sun each became a deity in the
That's Cran Castle Drew, Anglesey, Wales from 3000 BC, and it is very similar, although slightly a bit smaller than Newgrange down in the Boyne Valley in Ireland.
parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence or is it just sublime that we might bring you excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme?
That's the Ring of Border, Orkney Islands, Scotland from 2005, 2750 BC.
With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a
Right, and that takes us back to Stonehenge, or not Stonehenge, Giant's Ring, Belfast. So what you can see is that we had across the British Isles similar cultural and religious things that we all sort of partake in. We were the same people basically within different tribes. So if we had all that 3,000 years before Christ, why are we only getting kings in 800 AD? Stop appropriating other cultures. Yeah. Right, sorry, just checking through the chat, make sure there's nothing we really need to. No, don't. We're fine. Right, so we always had the settlements, we always had the things, but we're only starting to get recognized kings in 800 AD. So I'm going to talk a bit firstly about the first king of England, which is the earliest one that's recorded, who was a Saxon, Egbert. And I'll get this fired up. Right, need to move this over. I want to have a look at how this is looking on the screen. See if I need to make it larger. Yep, that'll do. We can run with that. Egbert of Wessex, 770 to 839 AD, not CE, but don't do that shit here, was the most powerful and influential king of Wessex prior to the reign of Alfred the Great. Egbert came to the throne at a time when the neighbouring kingdom of Mercia had dominated Wessex and controlled the sitting king before King Beleric through an alliance sealed by marriage. Egbert seems to have taken time to assemble his military and resources and then met the Mercian armies and defeated them in battle of Elendor in 825 CE. Afterwards, he swiftly took the Marian territory, installed his son Athelwait, 839 to 858 AD, as sub-king, and neutralize Mercian aggression. So why we're having the first king of England at this stage is because England, like Ireland, and like Scotland and Wales, had miniature kingdoms, and this is the first time that we're getting a king that can say that they are ruling that whole domain. Afterwards, he swiftly took Mercian territory, and I've already read that. Egbert was the first king of Wessex to completely Right. Egbert was the first king of Wessex to completely subdue Mercia, and the stability he provided allowed for further developments of the kingdom, as well as resources to withstand the Viking raids. At his death, he was so powerful that the Anglo-Saxon chronicles refer to him as ruler of Britain and not just king of Wessex. Later, King Egbert is featured in the TV series Vikings, where he is called Egbert, played by English actor Linus Roach, and is depicted as a mercenary, manipulative, and self-serving for the most part. Because, holy fuck, TV wouldn't take actual historical characters and fuck about them and make them, if they're British, make them like worse than what they are. Because, and the TV series is obviously 100% true. Not. Though still a cultured, intelligent, and articulate monarch, this characterization is possibly drawn from the historical Egbert's initiatives in consolidating his kingdom, but is largely fictionalized without any detailed historical basis. So why do you even put this in? You see, we're looking for the facts, and they have to throw in stuff from a TV program to throw fucking shit at them. Egbert was possibly born in Kent, the son of a short-lived ruler of that kingdom called Egraham. His Kentish origin is supported by the Anglo-Saxon chronicles, but has been called into question by recent scholarships. Yeah, because we are rewriting history, claiming he was originally from Wessex. Nothing is known about his youth beyond his possible relation to Earthhound and the claim that he could trace his ancestry back to Cedric of 519 to 540 before Christ, the founder and first king of Wessex. This claim is made by later generations, however, which were written by the scribes of Wessex after Egbert had already established himself as a powerful king, and so may not be reliable. Linking Egbert to Cedric would have enhanced his status, and it was fairly common practice for the scribes of kings to attribute their lineage to impressive pedigrees, even if they could not be proven. Even so, it is possible that Egbert descended from Cedric and the West Saxon noble, who is also connected to the Kingdom of Kent, would not have been unusual. It is probable that Egbert came from Kent, however, he was descended from King Egbert of Kent, or almost certainly Egbert II, the father of Elahand. If one assumes the Kentish origin, then it would have grown up during the period of Mercian supremacy of the kingdom. King Cuthbert of Wessex had defeated Mercia and elevated Wessex, and therefore Kent, during his reign, but these gains were lost during the reigns of his successors in Segbert and Kenilworth. By the time Egbert was born in 770 AD, Mercia was dominant in power and was ruling Kent through clan kings, as they had on and off from early 664 AD. Kent defeated Mercia in battle in 776 under the reign of Egbert II and maintained its independence through the reign of Edmund, but King Offa of Mercia reasserted his power in 785 and again took control of the kingdom. In 786, Quentulf of Wessex died, and the nobleman Bertric was in line to assume the throne, but was challenged by Egbert, who seemingly comes out of nowhere to assert his right to rule Wessex, thus arguing for Wessex nobility as his origin. Bertric was supported by Offa, however, who sealed the contract with Wessex by marrying his daughter Edberth to Bertric. Egbert was driven into exile and fled to France. At this time, France was a united empire under the rule of Charlemagne, king of the Franks, and the Holy Roman Emperor from 800 to 814 AD, who protected the young exile. Charlemagne seems to have disliked Offa, and it is said that he was outraged when Offa proposed an alliance which would be settled by marriage of Offa's son Edric to one of Charlemagne's daughters, Bertha. Even so, Charlemagne did nothing at this time to offset Offa's plans in Wessex, possibly because Bertric had a legitimate claim to the throne which superseded Egbert's. Offa died in 796, and Egbert, his successor soon after. The nobleman Quentulf of Mercia took the throne, probably after assassinating Ethelbert, and continued Offa's policies regarding Wessex as king. He maintained Mercian's superiority in the region. Wessex operated more or less as a puppet kingdom. Egbert remained in exile in Francia at this time when Bertric died in 802 CE. Charlemagne seems to have supported Egbert in a bid for power to become king of Wessex. Little is known in the first 20 years of Egbert's reign. Right, so we've now actually got to the bit where he became the king. He seems to have reasserted Wessex independence from Mercia, but there are no records of how or the military campaigns of the two kingdoms. Instead, in 815, Egbert led his armies to conquer the region of Dornonia, modern Cornwall, on its border. These campaigns were probably encouraged by Dornonia's lucrative ports and trade contracts, skill in metalworking, and other resources Egbert would be required to enlarge and equip his army. Wessex had been under Mercia control since 785, and there are no records of any military activity under the reign of Bertric. Although there was no records of military build-up in Wessex in Egbert's early reign, this must have been when he concentrated his efforts, because 815 to 820 he could effectively campaign in Dormonia, and in 825 he was able to mount an effective offence against Mercia itself. I want to check the chat. George Orwell's in. No, he married someone else's daughter. There's Parkgate's in. Right. Carthier of Mercia died in 821 and was succeeded by his brother Cerwulf, who was then deposed by nobleman Benforth, while Egbert was gathering his forces, which would win the Battle of Ellingham and shatter Mercian supremacy. The entry into the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles for 825 reads, Egbert, king of West Saxons, and Bernwulf, king of Mercia, fought a battle at Wilton, modern-day Wiltshire, in which Egbert gained the victory, but there was a great slaughter on both sides. He sent his sons Ethelwulf into Kent with a large detachment from the main body of his army, accompanied by Bishop Astrian as his alderman. Wulfton, who drove Ballard, the king northwest over the Thames, whereupon the men of Kent submitted to him, as did also the inhabitants of Surrey, Sussex, and Essex. So he's going about waging battles and taking more land, and this is where he's becoming the first king of all of England. Details in the Battle of Ellingham have been lost or were never recorded, and the Anglo-Saxon chronicles are notorious for brief and tantalising entries. So there is no account of how Egbert mobilised or led his army. However, he conducted the campaign. It was successful. Even though Mercia would later assert itself and reclaim some of the lands and independence, it would never be the power that had been before. Ellendon, the chronicles note a strong victories following Ellingham, and in 827 AD it states, Egbert in the course of the same year conquered the Mercian kingdom and all of the south of the Humber, being the 8th king who was sovereign of the British domains. Although the Anglo-Saxon chronicles claim 827 AD as the year of Wessex's complete supremacy, this date has been challenged by archaeological and literary evidence. Mercia had lost territory, power and privilege, but was still ruled by Mercian kings. Bournemouth survived the Battle of Ellendon, but was killed fighting against East Anglians in 826, and was succeeded by Lucier, who died in the battle the following year trying to complete Bournemouth's campaign to suppress East Anglian revolt. Wigford then took the throne and did his best to retain some of Mercian autonomy for Wessex. Here's a map of England at the time. So you seem to have like 3 different bits that are about to become united. The entry of chronicles in 825 stating Egbert sent Ethelmuth to Kent to depose Ballard is considered off by a few months or a year. That would probably happen in 826. Ballard was a clan king under Kent, but Bournemouth and his loss would have been significant to Mercia. Following the outing of Ballard, Egbert claimed kingship of Kent as overlord to Ethelmuth, who served as a clan king as well over Essex and Surrey. Between 825 and 829, Egbert continued expanding his reign at Mercia, and in 825 he conquered North Wales, and 829 he accepted the submission of the Kingdom of Northumbria, and at the same time drove Wilgoth off his throne and took direct control of Mercia. By 830, he was the most powerful king in the land, and Wessex controlled resources and trade in the south of Britain all the way to the north. So what you had in England in that time, to sum this up, is you had 3, possibly 4 clans that were controlling their own land, and you have this guy who becomes in control of them all through military conflict. If you were a nobleman at that time, you were probably doing okay with finances and stuff, probably collecting taxes, but you were doing a load of fighting, and if you weren't on Egbert's side, you were a good chance of ending up daily bread. And if you were a serf person of the land, you were probably being dragged into these battles, whether you wanted to be or not. Conscription might not have been a organised thing, but it definitely happened. Although Egbert would retain control of the north, his grasp on Mercia slipped in 830 AD when Wilgoth returned from exile and regained his throne. Many different theories have been suggested for the cause of Mercia's revival, but the most probable is the loss of support for Wessex from the Carolingian Empire. The Empire of the Franks was secure under the reign of Charlemagne, but when he died in 814, he was succeeded by his son Louis the Paris, who had greater difficulty managing the enormous realm. It was not just the magnitude of the empire that posed a challenge, however, but the loss of the commanding presence of Charlemagne. Throughout his reign, Charlemagne had engaged most incessantly in successive military campaigns. To the Scandinavians, Saxons, and Slavs, he seemed invincible on the battlefield, and few were willing to contest with him even before the Saxon Wars of 722 and 804, in which Charlemagne conquered Saxony and slaughtered thousands. Shortly after his death, the first Viking raid struck West Francia in 820. This assault was easily repelled by the shore guard because the Vikings were surprised by the resistance they met, but they would return later in greater force and be far better prepared. In the 820s, Louis the Pious would still have been able to spare resources to support Egbert in Wessex, but as the decade progressed, he was contending with Slavic incursions, rebellions, and then a series of civil wars, and had his own problems to deal with. Even so, contrary to the claims of a number of scholars, it is not as though Wessex declined in power after 830. Mercia was an autonomous state by 831, operating without regard for Wessex's interests. But it was nowhere near as powerful as it had been, and never would be again. Scholars who claim Wessex declined in the 830s point to Egbert's defeat by the Vikings, but it was a single loss previously unknown to opponent and characterized. In 836, the Danes invaded Charmouth, with a fleet of 35 ships met by Egbert and his army. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle entry for that year states, "A great slaughter was made here, and the Danes remained masters of the field, indicating a significant victory for Viking raids." Vikings appear to have made a treaty with the Cornish people in Dortmundia, who had been subject to Wessex since Egbert's campaigns in 815. What exactly the Vikings did after the Battle of Carmouth is unknown, but there is no doubt they remained in the region because in 838 they had an army of Dumorta met Egbert and his army at the Battle of Histine Down. According to Anglo-Saxon chronicles, the Viking Dumorta forces seem to have declared war on Wessex and taken up a position in present-day Cornwall, during Egbert to meet them. The entry for 838 continues. When he, Egbert, heard of this, he proceeded with his army against them and fought with them at Henderson, where he put to flight both winning the field and dispersing the enemy. Although Wessex did not retain the kind of power it had in Mercia after 830 CE, Egbert would still mobilise force and win battles. 1 year before his death, his defeat in 836, sometimes attributed to a lack of resources or support from Louis the Pious, could as easily have been caused by the lack of preparation and surprise, just as Vikings were easily defeated by the shore guard of West Francia in 820. It is likely that Egbert was defeated in 836 for the same reason. He had no idea what to expect from his opposition. The Vikings did not engage in battle in the same way the West Franks or Saxons did, and after Charmouth, Egbert knew this and would be better prepared to meet them in 838. How much more of this? Right. Egbert died of natural causes in 839. His son Athelwait succeeded him without opposition due to his support from the church. In the TV series Vikings, throughout his appearance in Vikings, do you know what? I'm going to skip all that. Although later scribes quite likely did embellish on Egbert's lineage to link him with Cedric, there is nothing in the contemporary accounts which supports the claim that Egbert was anything less than a capable and efficient medieval king. It is probable that he did engage in duplicity and backdoor deals to achieve his ends, but in this he would have been no different than Charlemagne or any other leader, past or present. Ever known a leader to not fucking do deals? That's their job. That's their whole fucking job. Get the best deal for their people. The kingdom he stabilized and developed would pass to his successors until he was elevated to its height under the reign of Albert the Great and become the birthplace of the Kingdom of England. That would not have been possible without the contribution of Egbert of Essex. So there's Egbert, and then I'm going to check the chat. So I'm just checking the chat. I honestly know fuck all about Charmian, so I can't say whether he was a good guy or not, but he was influential. So, yes, the Saxons did have awesome names. Right, so the idea of this was to see what England was like at that time, what Scotland's like, what Wales like. We've already spoke a bit of what Ireland was like, and compare and contrast. So in England, we've got different groups, and Egbert winning out and getting control of the whole thing, and issues with Viking raiders. Now, the first king of Scotland was Kenneth MacAlpine, who was a Pict, and that was in 843. And I'm going to get that up. Yes, that you can quote me on that. All right, here we go. So here we go. I just want to check how this looks in the stream, and that's looking good. Kenneth I, first king of the United Scots of Darna and the Picts, and so of Scotland, north of the line between the Forth and Clyde rivers. Of his father Alpine, little is known, which is becoming a fucking very common thing. Little is known about blah blah blah. Though tradition credits him with a single victory over the Picts, by whom he was killed 3 months later. Kenneth succeeded him in Darda and ruled in Pictavia, also ruling for 16 years. The period is obscure. The gradual union between the two kingdoms of 843 doubtless owes much to intermarriage. By the Pictish marriage custom, inheritance passes through the female. Nevertheless, Kenneth probably made some conquests among the eastern Picts and possibly invaded Lothian. By the way, the idea of the female inheritance passing down is very questionable. So, possibly invaded Lothian and burned Dunbar and Montrose. After attacks by Iona by Vikings, he is believed to have removed the relics of St. Columba, probably in 849 or 850, to Dunkeld, which became the headquarters of the Scottish Columbine Church. So, in England, we've got things, different groups joining together to create one nation. Scotland, we've got people joining together to create one nation. And we have, in England, we have problem with the Vikings. In Ireland, we have problem with the Vikings. And in Scotland, we have problem with the Vikings. All seems very fucking similar, people. He died at Favorite, not far from Scone, in Pictish territory, and was buried on the island of Iona. Not a lot about him, but there you go. That's what was happening in Scotland at the time. And if you think the information on him was slim, it's pro-Scottish. It's actually pro-William Burns, if anything else. It's a good it's a good way of preserving Scottish custom. That and Hogmanay and the Highland Games. No, there's not a lot of anything for Kenneth. Thank you, George Orwell. One in the chat for Kenneth the Obscure. Yeah, it is very obscure. Oh, if you think the information on Kenneth is slim, we have the King of Wales from 844 and that we just see the reams and reams and reams of knowledge we have about him. Because it's absolutely fascinating. I want to see how this is going to look on the screen because I think this needs, yes, this needs assuming and assuming again. Here we go. There is a little picture of the parchment that they have taken us from. His name was Rodwar Marr, date of death 877. Spouse Angleford Fetch Murgy. Child Kappa. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt for these names. Occupation King of Gwedwell, Pauls, and Bitchute. Area of activity politics, government, political movements, royal society. Right. Son of Methan Finch by Nest. Daughter of Cadwell ap Brotwell of Powells. He succeeded his father as King of Gwenad in 844. In 855, on the death of his uncle, Clogron, he became King of Powys. And in 872, when Gordon, King Swellish, Credden, and Yazan Twazi, if anybody's Welsh in, I'm sorry for butchering these names, but I just don't have the focal set for or even cognitive ability to figure out how this is supposed to be pronounced. And the brother to his wife, Angus, died, and the southern realm came under his rule. So basically, he became king of his bit by birth, and by living longer than the other people, he inherited their bits, and that's what brought all of Wales together. This was thus created the first time a loose union of at least 3 major Welsh provinces, and through the dissolved at Rodder's death, this temporary association gave birth to the aspiration which coloured the outlook of successive generations of Rodden's descendants as rulers of Denmark and Gwenad, down to the loss of Welsh independence. In his lifetimes, Wales was gravely menaced by the Danes. Shocker. And evidence exists pointing to bold and vigorous leadership during the crisis. It would appear that he died in battle against the Saxons, leaving 6 sons, of whom 2 became founders of medieval dynasties. Arnard in the house of Aberwyth, and Cabell, father of Cabell died, the house of Dwinfor. And I think I did find a little bit more on him. I'm just going to have a joke. King Streak. Yeah, this could well be true. And the Saxons stepped into that void. Let's see. Let me have a look at this. Yep, no. I had another link, but it just gave the same information. So that's where we're at now. So England, Scotland, Wales all seem to be very similar, and Ireland at that time. So we want to have a quick look at life in Anglo-Saxon Britain, what it would be like, what was going on, and how we got to there. Sorry, 1 second, I'm just checking on the right link. Yep, this is the one we want. This is from the BBC, so it's obviously going to be extremely fucking accurate. And this is about the it's an overview of the Anglo-Saxons from 410 to 800 AD. And I want to check this, what's like on the screen. I think I'm going to give that a little zoom. In 410, the Roman Emperor Honorius told the local authorities in Britain that he could not send any reinforcements to help them defend the province against the barbarian attacks. The Roman armies on the continent were overstretched, fighting both the tribes who had come over the Rhine and Danube frontiers and also the Roman generals, including some from Britain, who wanted to control the empire themselves. Roman Britain was being attacked from 3 directions. The Irish, called Scoti by the Romans, which is very interesting because the Romans were very familiar with the Celts from Central Europe, and they know the difference between Celts and non-Celts. And I'm reckoning the reason why they're calling them Scoti is because they are the Ulster Scots people who are also very well connected to the Scottish and the Picts. Attack from the west, and the Picts from the north, and the first Germanic-speaking peoples from the east across the North Sea. The latter included the Anglo-Saxons, Jutes, who were all from northern Germany and southern Denmark. The continental invaders were generally called Saxons by their neighbours. England was still called Saxony in Gaelic. Don't think they spoke Gaelic. And its inhabitants were Saracens. The term Anglo-Saxon did not become common until the 8th century, when people on the continent started using it to distinguish between the inhabitants of Britain and the Saxons who remained in northern Germany. The Anglo-Saxons themselves had by then begun to use the word Angle or English to refer to themselves. the Roman Britons defended themselves against the invaders as best they could with successful military leaders, including Ambrosius Aurelius and the possibly entirely legendary figure of Arthur. I think the BBC is talking shit on that one. New kings emerged to different kingdoms within the former Roman province 150 years after the end of the Roman rule. Some were still taking Roman names like Constantine and Aurelius. Now, I don't want to go through that. No. That's the stuff that I didn't want to go through. They do indeed. Oh yes, I knew you'd be liking this. And I bet this, you're going to like. So, what was life for ordinary people like then? Is what we want to look at. So, share screen. Most people in Anglo-Saxon England lived in villages. Their homes were made of wood, wattle and daub, and thatched roofs. They were normally just a single room with a space for a fire and a hole in the roof to allow smoke to escape. And they looked like this. It's all very Robin Hoody. West Dow is a reconstruction of an Anglo-Saxon village and shows how people would have lived. And there's somewhere to put on the visit list. Most Anglo-Saxons were farmers and lived off the land. They were able to make equipment such as ploughs and tools to help them with their work. They would grind wheat and make flour so they could make bread. Some Anglo-Saxons were skilled craftsmen who made decorative jewellery such as brooches and necklaces. England had several Christian bishops during the Roman period, but the spread of Christianity increased during the later Anglo-Saxon era. The spread of Christianity also helped to unite the different kingdoms of England as more and more people across the country were following the same religion. The other thing that happened close to this time, 325 AD, there was the first Council of Nicaea, where the method of worship for the Roman Catholic Church was set, and a lot of things were decided. So not only was it spreading, but it was also becoming more unified in its methods. Children in Anglo-Saxon England didn't go to school. Instead, they learned skills from their parents. Boys often learned farming and craftsmanship from their fathers, while girls would often learn how to spin cloth and look after the home. Sounds like a good way to go. Archaeological digs have discovered evidence of activities and games that children would have played. Discoveries have included carved horses, wooden musical instruments, dice games, and a range of different board games. So, this is actually starting to sound like a normal English village where you've got men doing work, women looking after the house, and children having time to play games. Owls enjoyed sports such as hunting, running, horse racing, and playing musical instruments. Evidence of these activities has been found in archaeological digs and written accounts from the time. Storytelling was a popular pastime for the Anglo-Saxons. People would often sit together and tell each other tales. One of the most famous examples of this time is the story of Beowulf. This is a poem set in Scandinavia in which Beowulf battles against a monster called Grendald. Anglo-Saxons also enjoyed riddles. In the 900s, around 100 were gathered together in the Exeter Riddles book. And here we've got an example of one. Here we go. When I am alive, I do not speak. Anyone who wants to take me captive cuts off my head. They bite my bare body. I do not harm anyone unless they cut me first. Then soon I make them cry. I'm going to give us a couple of minutes and see if anybody can figure that one. Here we go again. When I am alive, I do not speak. Anyone who wants to take me captive and cuts off my head. They bite my bare body. I do not harm anyone unless they cut me first. Then soon I make them cry. Any answers? Okay, I'm going to reveal the answer. It's an onion. So there you go. Right, so we'll take that away. Well, we're an orange 7 in. I totally agree, Anglo. If I knew there was going to be a test, I would have revised. Robert Ingram was on it. Lemons. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something very dangerous. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Now, to anybody that's thinking about coming on, first of all, you are very welcome. Second of all, I may do this on a rotation thing where one person out, one person in. And the other thing is, not the link in the chat. If I can right. Have a think about what you're going to say, because you don't want to be you don't want to be featuring on this.
Information zu besprechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow. Und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf, Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
Mein Führer, Steiner konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodel, Krebs und Butter. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Versiegt sie, dass wir ist das rausgekommen. Das Militär hat mich belogen. Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS. Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge.
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verbringen...
Nicht als Feiglinge, Verreiter, Versager.
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmolz des deutschen Volkes. Sie ist ohne Ehre. Sie nennen sich Generale, weil sie Jahre auf Militärakademien zugebracht haben, nur um zu lernen, wie man Messer und Gabel hält. Jahrelang hat das Militär meine Aktionen nur behindert. Es hat mich jeden nur gegen Widerstand in den Weg gelegt. Ich hätte gut daran getan, um Jahren alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin. Ich war leer von der Akademie. Und doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt, ganz Europa erobert. Verräter! Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden. Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen. Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen. Sie werden es saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte gerne. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
There you go. Sounds New York tunnels. What about you, chum?
Haben Sie gern das deutsche Band? Bida bing, bida bom, bida bing bang bing bom bom. Oh, haben Sie gern das deutsche Band? How you doing, mate?
Doing good. TikTok, that clip's been used for a hell of a lot of stuff. It's used for that all the time.
And it's fresh every time, mate.
Yep. There's a good one look up the Julie Bindle one.
I like the football results. When I was going to say, you could have used that for the Newcastle Man City one tonight, because the lad who lives next door to me is a massive Newcastle fan. And tonight I could get in there, go on. And then I was like, no. And this is coming through the walls. And unfortunately, Newcastle got done 2-3 to Man City. Unlucky.
Because I heard a bit of that on the radio whenever I was driving about, and it was looking like quite the game.
Do you know something, mate? I can't remember the last time I watched a football. Do you know? I think, and this is the God's honest truth. I think the last time I watched a football match was probably the 2010 World Cup when it was held in South Africa, and I was probably watching the alternative commentary by Chris Moyles and his folk on BBC Radio 1. It was like the BBC. It was like,
or BBC
you could have
Live.
Yeah, well, you could have, like I say, you could have. You remember when they used to do shit where you could have you could watch the live TV, and you could have the live TV commentary, or you could have the radio commentary.
Yeah.
And I was watching the live TV pictures on BBC One, but it was the Chris Moyles, and everything didn't matter who the player was. Everything was Lampard, Gerrard. And it was really good. It was very funny. But I think that was probably the last time I watched a football match. That was the one that was famous when old, on the spectrum Rooney, because he's like, what, a quarter of a chromosome away from a Downs. But he was like, it's horrible, innit, when your own country hates you. Yeah, because you're fucking shit. You were fucking shite. You know what I mean?
Well,
best footballers in the world, and you're fucking shite. You know what I mean?
Well, me and Emma G go to all the home Northern Ireland matches, and it's fucking brilliant, mate. We absolutely love it. But then again, our footballers don't get engaged in politics or shit.
Yeah, I took my ride down to Wembley, you know, with the greatest team ever, Port Vale, in the Autoglass Trophy against Stockport County, and we served those bastards a good owning, even though they had 7'2" Kevin Francis playing for them, Neil Aspin all over that fucker. Unlucky. Packer, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're not on the old Sterling, son.
No.
Oh,
No, I'm skint. I've had to go back
I'm
to
having.
back.
I'll be having a couple of those tomorrow. I'm going over my auntie's tomorrow. I've been invited for me dinner, and me and my cousin will be outside after dinner having a couple of old Sterlings there. So
Good on you.
you
Enjoy
got
them.
us onto this one, mate. You got us hooked on those fuckers. It's not me.
Yeah,
it's
now
you.
I can't afford them anymore.
I'll tell you what, I got mine from Asda. Yeah, they were a 10 spot, but it weren't ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm skint. I'm back on the rollies. It's
Oh,
very unfortunate.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I prefer rollies. My favourite rollie is gold leaf, licorice paper, menthol filter. There you go.
The trouble is, I was a self-employed handyman, builder type bloke, and if you roll a fag, people don't trust you. It's a very strange thing. If you get a pipe out, they trust you. Roll a fag, no, don't trust him. Very odd.
Yeah, but it depends on the quality of the crack that you put on the pipe, though, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, I'll tell you something now. A lot of the folk who I know, we all prefer the rollies. You know what I mean? I just don't know because I suppose it's only something if you're somebody who has a tab every now and again. But I reckon there's a lot less shit in a hand rolled fag than what's in, all those accelerants and fucking shit that's in a properly formed tab. There's only one time I've ever had a properly, like a manufactured fag, where if you weren't smoking it, it went out of its own accord, like what a rollie does. And that was a Russian cigarette called a Ziganov, and it came in like a Dunhill case. You remember the flat Dunhill cases? But instead of being maroon and gold, this was black with silver outline. And they were fantastic. I'll tell you what, Russian smokes, I tell you now, French smokes are terrible. They're the worst in the world, them and Turks. But I tell you what, the smoothest smokes I've ever had have been Russian. So Ziganov and Zabrani, they're pretty smooth smokes then.
So you're loving the Russians and you're hating the French and the Turks. You sound like an
yeah, pretty much the story of my life.
Funny though, yeah, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, how we all doing?
I ain't watched football since they took the knee. I just can't do it. I was a proper West Ham fan from the day I was born up until they took the knee, and now I can't do it anymore. And they've had a couple of good seasons. And
do you know something, mate? You know West Ham. They went into the the fucking stadium or wherever it was, the London Olympic Stadium for their ground. The last time I was in the bowling ground was to watch Derek Chisora against David A. You remember they had that grudge match, the boxing? Derek Chisora against David A. Heavyweight boxing match, grudge match. That was the last time I was in the bowling ground, mate. And I think that was just after.
The bowling ground was a shithole. Go on, say it, because it was.
I'm forever blowing bubbles. Do you know what it was? You probably know this as well, mate, because if you know that area, the hospital that's just round the corner. We used to park there because you got cheapo parking for the day compared to everywhere else. So we used to park in the Aussie and then walk down to the fucking bowling ground. Do you remember that, fella?
Probably not now. You probably get towed now.
Yeah, well, I don't remember. When was that? Crikey O'Reilly. That'd be about 2010, wouldn't it? So fuck me, I feel old now. That's like 15 years ago when Chisora and David A fought. I can't remember now exactly.
Yeah, well, when West Ham snagged the Olympic Stadium, fucker, did we piss off the Man United home support?
Yeah. Well, like I say, I haven't been down there since late 90s to watch a footy game. Because there wasn't really much. Because like a lot of the London, when was the last?
Last time I went to the bowling
Sellers Park, Port Vale against Wimbledon, because Wimbledon used to play out of Sellers Park. Do you remember that? And
last time I went to the bowling ground, we played Wimbledon, and I was down the away end, and almost got myself flung out.
Well, you remember when Wimbledon used to play at Sellers Park, and we went down. I'm certain Wimbledon used to share Sellers Park. Oh no, was it Chris? Yeah, I'm certain it was. I'm certain it was Crystal Palace Sellers Park. And Wimbledon, because they didn't have a big club of their own, but they were getting big. Last time we went down there, and our boy, he got poached by them. By Wimbledon, the fuckers, after we played him. Yeah, Ian Taylor. Yeah, I'm certain that was him. Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Yeah. Bastards. God alone knows when that was. That'd be what, 95? Christ, I don't know. Long time, mate. We're talking
I've not been to a
decades.
football match since about 1991, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, 42, mate. We Shanghai'd you chat with a load of bullshit.
No, you're fine. Anglo-Saxon said Notts County 1861, oldest professional football team in the world. 1863, Stoke City a second.
Yeah, Stoke were one of the founding fathers of footy, Stoke. Believe it or not, yeah.
Do you know what I've always been curious about? See the first football team. Who the fuck did they play against?
That's just what I was going to ask.
They played against a set of cricketers, and it was an interesting game.
It was 163-4.
Yeah. And the thing is, the hell of it was, we were playing this game with this football, and we were kicking it around. And then all of a sudden, some fucker who didn't get the gist, so I'll pick that cunt up and run with it. And then you got rugby, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Ugly Truth's just put in the chat, Stoke, not hate. He's been making me laugh all night long, Ugly Truth. He's a funny bastard. All evening long.
Ugly Truth does come up with some crackers.
Yeah. He's
he is the king of the one-liner, isn't he?
He's top tier, there is, yeah. Mud United. There you go.
Yes. Well, that's all in the past. We're not going there again. We're not.
Just before we finish, on that night when me and my mate went down and watched Derek Chisora and David A, there was these set of joggers who were chancing their arm on ticket scalping, so we were exactly where we were meant to be. And these sort of ne'er-do-wells come, you in the right seat, But we were behind. There was a whole family of really well-dressed, well-to-do joggers behind us. We stood there like a couple of spots on a domino, do you know what I mean? Because we had decent seats pretty close to the front. And it was like, fuck me, this is like Rourke's Drift here, isn't it? And, these two chances come up with, fuck, we're going to get rumbled here. But the blokes behind said, hold on a minute. These have been here for fucking ages, waiting. You're just rocking up now. Let me see your fucking ticket. So the bloke thing, he goes, oh, yeah, I know where your ticket is. You see the O on Trevor Brooking. That's where your fucking ticket is. Because in the stand where you had Trevor Brooking in the stand, it says your ticket's right in the O of Trevor fucking Brooking, which I thought was, God bless him for that one, you know what I mean?
Mr. Herbert.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. How are you all doing? Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, all good.
Yep. Excellent. Not often I get to talk to New York tunnels very often. And I might ask him some questions about that particular topic tonight. What do you think, 42?
What? One thing I will say, Rory, is it is remiss of me, and I know it's on Bitchute, but I haven't listened to the bit of 42 stream that I missed last week after our pal, who was the genius of the evening.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, right, honestly, honest to God, that is streaming gold. That's got to be right up there with Streaky's.
It is, isn't it? I so thoroughly enjoyed that stream.
That's got to be right up there with Streaky's, shut up with your men problems and do fucking nationalism.
Sansom, I was on the stream at the time, and I was just listening to it. I was thinking, what on earth is going on here? This is crazy. But yeah, you're right. It was sort of fun, but no, my little bit about the SS operations in Italy were. Kind of just didn't fit in, but I said to 42 earlier, look, I'd like to discuss this.
Well, I was glad for the change of topic.
I did actually. I bought the. I received that book I mentioned during the stream 42, and it is excellent. I think I'll send you the link. But anyway, there we go. Enough from me for the moment. So New York tunnels. There we go. There's a topic. Shall we discuss that one?
Yeah. Well,
did anyone carry on?
Well, the police have decided to fill them in with concrete just after the stained mattresses have been removed. So there you go. There you go. Ooh, controversial.
It looks to me like they were using it. It looks to me like they were using it as a fucking dump, just threw crap down. I don't know.
Yeah, like dirty mattresses and stuff of that nature. When I first saw them coming out of the sewer gratings, and I just thought somebody had dropped a quarter down there. Do you know what I mean? And they were just thought they'd get themselves down there, for a bit of easy money.
Well, you know what I found interesting was from the film from inside the synagogue. They appear to use wooden doors. Did you notice?
Rory,
that?
Stop.
Is Rory
this
on his half out?
No, this stream is staying on YouTube. It's not going to Bitchute this week. Don't start that fucking.
All right.
For fuck's sake. Please.
Just something I noticed. That was awful.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, don't read anything into the dirty mattresses, folk. It was all perfectly natural, normal.
Oh dear.
Just out of interest, Packer, what backy are they using here on that one there?
Oh, right. So I went down the shop tonight and I was smoking Marlboro Gold.
Oh, no, I've never tried that. Doesn't sound good, though.
So I'm literally smoking the cheapest shit they sell.
It's not Cutter's Choice, is it?
No, I'm smoking Embassy Signature.
Oh, I do. No, I used to like Embassy Regal. Do you remember them, the little stubby fags? I used to like Embassy Regal back in the day. When I was a kid, before I was old enough to smoke, I used to like Embassy. I used to like Embassy Regal.
I started on JPS, and then I went to Rothmans, and then I think I moved to B&H. I somehow wound up on Tesco Nights, I think.
Actually, Packer, I just came across Marlboro Gold, the rolling tobacco.
Yeah, it was £15 something for 30 grams. Suddenly it's jumped up to £17 something.
Oh, I think Tesco's still £15 something.
Oh, well.
And I looked at this and I thought, hold on, Marlboro's meant to be like a premium, or used to be like a real premium brand. And yet now they seem to be saying the cheapest tobacco that you can buy.
They just do it to get you hooked, so you ask for that. That's all it is.
Well, here's the thing. How the fuck you meant to shop by price whenever they took all the prices off the counter?
Oh well, see, I live in a small town, and when I go in and ask for it, she said, literally tonight, she said to me, "Are you asking that because it's asking for that because it's the cheapest?" And I went, "Yeah." Why? What is now? And then she told me, and then I bought that.
Yeah, but
Because
no,
local shops, local people.
Yeah, but you've got to actually ask what the prices are.
Yeah, well, no,
Whereas-
I found Marlboro Gold when I went into a garage somewhere I didn't know. I was out of my area and just said, "Give me the cheapest fucking backy you got."
Right, but here's the thing: the reason that they give for taking all the branding off and making them all look exactly the same, and for taking the prices away, was to try to deter brand loyalty. Right?
Yeah. No, when I
Right.
go into a shop and
Yeah.
ask for something, if they don't know what it is, I say it's the one in the green packet with the fucking horrible picture on it.
Right. Yes, but the thing about it is, if you were genuinely trying to stop brand loyalty, right, you would put the prices up so as people could shop by price.
Yeah.
So the thing that they've done is lock everybody into the cheapest cigarettes that were whenever you could last see the prices.
Yeah.
Because they took the prices away. And now you've got to actually go in and ask how much is it. And the other thing where they've made fucking 3 different types of everything, there's none of it is, it smacks to me of regulations for the sake of regulations, because their job was to create regulations, and if they run out of things to regulate and stupid ways to regulate them, they're out of a job. So they invented all this bullshit that had nothing to do with the aims that they actually gave.
Yeah, well,
if you're into killing yourself, which is your choice, just go into the shop and ask for the cheapest backy that they sell, and if they sound belief, say, "What's the next cheapest backy?"
Well, yeah, unbelief's rough, isn't it? That's it. That is floor sweepings, isn't
No,
it?
what you do?
I would. Sorry,
what
mate.
you do is ask for the stuff under the counter.
Well, the thing is, right? If you're a man and you want to avoid any kind of health issues, always ask the person behind the counter to give you the packets that can affect your pregnancy. That way, you'll avoid all of the nasty shit. You know what I mean? Because it's just the stuff that affects pregnancy. So there you go.
Yeah, but men can get pregnant. Do you not know this?
Not in my fucking universe, they can't.
Oh, fuck. Oh. Well, what do we think about the Anglo-Saxons?
Good stuff. The people that this country is made up of is the winners of the whole of Europe.
Well, yes, absolutely. Packer, sorry, 42. I didn't realise that Engelbert Humperdinck was a descendant of the King of England.
I think Engelbert Humperdinck made up his name.
I think he probably did.
Yeah.
But actually, 42, on that topic, I'm going back to Ireland. My wife's maiden name is McLaughlin.
Right.
And apparently there were some kings of Ireland called McLaughlin. About the same time, about sort of 800 to 1100. That area, you must know about that, because they were from Donegal in your area. There were some kings of Ireland. No?
Right. as I said before, the first king of Ireland was Henry II. There were people that had their own chiefdom, but there was nobody that had control of the overall island. And the other thing is, there's so much of Irish history that has been fucked about with, changed, invented.
Yeah, but there must have been some powerful families there.
Oh yeah, yes, there was
in Ulster at that time.
Yes, there was there was somebody that sat at the top of Ulster, somebody that sat at the top of Munster, same with the other provinces. McLaughlin, you know what? Oh fuck! Sorry, that was funny. But there, none of them held overall power, and there's no complete lists of who. Yeah, there was high kings, but there's no
That's
complete.
right. Yeah, that was the term, High Kings. Yeah.
Yeah, but they would have controlled their individual area. How big that area would be is hard to tell. Actually, I've seen a map today with a 10-county Ulster, where Ulster's borders went further down. It's really hard to tell what they were about the who was where.
But you also have to ask oneself, I mean, where was the population based? You know, there must have been vast areas of Ireland that were just basically not or hardly populated.
Oh yes, most of Ireland was sparsely populated. We didn't get the first like towns until the Vikings arrived.
So it was agricultural, basically, wasn't it?
It was agricultural. You had settlements dotted here, there, and everywhere.
But they would build their stone circles. They'd build their
they would build their stone circles, but
so they had centers of population.
Yes, a lot of those stone circles were placed at places where transient people would be crossing a river or something, and then people would travel from the surrounding area to there at certain times of the year for whatever the ritual was.
Yeah, but some of them were burial grounds, so there must have been communities.
Yes, there was, and if you got buried in a passage tomb, you were somebody of importance. That one at Giant's Ring, that was a passage tomb. At one stage, that was covered in earth, and somebody was buried in underneath those stones. And you had small settlements around there. Whenever you drive through the Irish countryside, you still see those small settlements. You know, very, very, very small villages that have then went from like houses similar to what the ones we're seeing tonight with the Anglo-Saxons. It's
the same around Stonehenge. You see, all these little mounds, you know, which are old burial grounds. In Wessex, we were talking about Wessex, or you were talking about Wessex. I'm sorry, and I don't think that was just for the rulers. I think they were general burial grounds.
To get in the passage tomb, you were of importance. Think about it this way: see, whenever you look at the quantity of passage tombs and the amount of people that were obviously buried, it doesn't add up that everybody got one of those. Right. Plus we have a lot of burial places that are very not like that, which were obviously for the people that were not of that level of importance.
So
Anglo
presumably then, I don't want to say the common people, but I will.
Yeah,
they
that's who they were.
They were buried in the fields, presumably.
Yes, they would have been. Most people got buried on a field. Then, whenever Christianity came, most people got buried in a church graveyard.
Indeed, yes. Or
I've
even
told my missus to put me out for the dustman.
Pardon?
I've told my missus to put me out for the dustman. I'll pay my council tax, fucking deal with it.
I quite fancy a Viking funeral. Not because I'm a Viking in any way, shape, or form, but I just thought it looks cool. But apparently you're not allowed.
It looks better than my feet sticking out of a wheelie bin. Yes, I'll grant you.
Yeah, but apparently you are not allowed to set a boat on fire and push it out on the Belfast Lock.
No, it's probably racist.
Yeah.
Is it racist?
No, the environmental people frown on it.
Oh, it's not white superiority or anything.
No, it's the environmental people. Apparently, no matter what you put on there, the fire doesn't get hot enough to cremate you. So whenever the boat floats, it's whenever the boat sinks because it's burnt out, then it takes down a body with it, and they don't want bodies just lying there.
Well, no, your fish food, that's environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Paco, if your feet are sticking out of a dustbin, how on earth are you going to the fish going to?
No,
feed
on
on that?
42 on his burning raft. It'd be fish food. That's environmentally friendly.
Oh,
I'll
okay,
go in the landfill. I don't care. I'm gonna decompose way faster than the black plastic bin liner next to me.
Oh, that black plastic bin liner decomposes a lot quicker than you're led to believe.
Does it?
Yep. Oh, I got you get told plastic bags take something like 1,000 years to biodegrade.
Yep. Do we all
Right,
remember
okay.
the red post office elastic bands?
No.
Where the post office went to red elastic bands because they decompose. And yeah,
Right.
that was brilliant. Yeah, till we all found out it only takes 1,000 years.
Right, okay. Now, we're told this that plastic bags takes 1,000 years to decompose. I had a load of magazines from mountain bike magazines. No, mountain bike ones. I used to have a subscription to mountain bike magazine. That's actually what it was called. So this thing came every month, and I took it into work to read. So I put a whole bunch of them into a plastic bag, put them in the bottom of my locker, and then about a year later, I put another bunch into the bottom of my locker. And after about 4 years, the plastic bags were all fucking falling apart. So I'm thinking they take a lot. They degrade a lot quicker than we are led to believe. No, not. I don't do porn. So actually, it was actually Mountain Bike magazine, and whenever I took out the subscription, I got a free pair of knee pads that I still use, and the plastic bags that I put the magazines into in my locker, they fell apart long ago. So there you go. So I think they may be shitting us.
Oh, they're definitely shitting us.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Mr. Spanish Chicken, what about you, sir?
How you doing, 42, and the guys?
Doing good.
Hello.
I thought I'd just pop on the show. I'm not what do they call it when people pop up on YouTube and they comment all the time, but they're not really a person. Can't think what it's called.
A bot?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm just a geezer down in Bristol, and I follow you, Sensum, Bonnie, Rags, a few others, and I just like to pop on and say you all talk sense. Good.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming along very regularly. It makes it possible for me to do this, because if nobody turned up, I would get disheartened. So,
You would, wouldn't you? Yeah, challenge yourself to a screen. How bad can that be? No, William does good stuff. There's loads of good streams out there.
Yeah, there is. It's actually quite strange, because I've found it very enjoyable.
It's a bit. I'll tell you what. For me, I haven't been to a pub for about 7-8 years, probably round about that. You know, when the drink driving sort of stuff come over and the smoking ban and all that, the pubs got fucked up. But when the COVID come along, it was like, there ain't no way I'm going to a pub. So, you sit at home and you drink. And this is how I found all these different streams. And it's really interesting. Some of the guys are really great. Some, obviously, there's wankers out there. You've got to be fucking honest. and they, they come along. It's no different to, if you're in a pub, there's always a wanker chatting. But this sort of stuff is great. I really love it. Really, really love your input.
Well, thank you very much. I made that pretty much exact comparison. I wrote a blog post about communities, and basically what these live streams are like. It's like you go to your local pub. It's like being in your local pub, except you can speak to anybody at any table at any time, in the chat, and it's. Actually, the streams I go to regularly, like Sansom's and the Waffle House and whatnot, I really enjoy it, because you can have a bit of a crack and a banter, and nobody's going to get offended.
There is a funny thing that you kind of you go to all the streams you agree with, but I still go to other streams where I don't agree with the people chatting, but I want to listen to what they got to say, because it makes my brain.
Good, yeah.
Oh, what are they on about?
Oh, fuck. Whenever I started getting involved in men's rights, and people were saying about what feminism was doing, and I'd say, well, what are they doing? They were like, go read the Scum Manifesto. And I'm like, why? What's in it? It says, no, I'm not telling you what's in it. Go read it. Why? And then you have other people putting comments in. The guy's actually trying to help you out if you want to have a proper argument or debate. If you want to understand the thing, you need to read the other side, because unless you know where their head's at, you'll never be able to. You'll never be able to debate. So there is a lot of use in listening to stuff that you disagree with.
There is very much use in listening to stuff you disagree with. I watch leftist stuff on YouTube, and Bootneck did a stream earlier, and he said
that was funny.
Yeah, no, Bootneck's great. I love him, and I'm kind of in his base. I'm not even right, let alone far right. I consider myself fairly middle of the road kind of guy, but the people on the left are indoctrinated, and the rest of us feel sorry for them. We feel like they have been duped, they have been misled, whereas they hate us. They want
Yeah,
us
well,
dead.
yeah,
In a
let 'em
bizarre
hate us.
kind of way. They just think we're fucking. Everyone right of them is Nazis and should die. We just feel like they've been led down the wrong path, which I think is a great way of. It's a true way of looking at it. It's just how I feel it is. My brother's left, although I know he isn't deep down, but me and him will argue at length about stuff. But it's just how they are. It's just how the world guides people.
The problem is what the left does is they will say something that sounds good for everybody, but just when you've heard them, right? Yes, right. Yes, but they don't explain what they actually mean. They dress it up. Right. Here's a really good example for drug addicts. Our current push governmentally right across the West is in their current push across the world is for harm reduction, right? And whenever you hear, right, we want to put in policies that reduce harm to drug addicts, everybody's fine with that. But what they mean by harm reduction is we will provide places for them to go and get paraphernalia, to take drugs, to consume drugs, but we will do absolutely fuck all about getting them sober and sorting out their life.
Was that a statement from the HSBC?
No, pardon?
HSBC funded most drug trafficking around the world last 20 years.
Who? HSBC?
HSBC, the bank.
They are funding trafficking.
Of course they are.
How? Why? Please explain.
Well, when you look at all the money that transfers around the world through the banks, HSBC was one of the biggest transfer of money.
Right.
So the cartels are doing it through the banks. So it's a big organization, isn't it?
Well, a lot of the cartel money, similar to the money for moving terrorist weapons about and people trafficking and stuff, isn't really moved. What you get a chit, which could be half of a $1 bill, and whenever you present that to the person that has got the other half of the dollar bill with the same serial number, that means that you're owed X amount of money. It's not always physical. It's not. Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, sorry. Right, I'm back. I pressed the button and the screen all changed. It's not necessarily actual money that gets transferred. There's people have wealth in America. People have wealth in Germany. People have wealth in Peru, whatever. And you turn up with the right thing that matches up to that, you're owed X amount of money. So the cash money that goes back to them in Britain stays in Britain. The cash money that goes in America stays in America. They don't put that through banks, because whenever you start putting that through banks, you run into all sorts of problems with tax.
Yeah, well, I was kind of loosely, roughly saying that all the big organizations are involved in everything anyway.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about what you're taking. The money transfers through. That's fine.
Oh, all of those people involved in all that stuff, they're interested in bettering themselves.
Of
No
course
one's
they are.
interested in bettering you.
Absolutely.
But the way we're looking at bringing in policies to decriminalize all drugs, and instead of having criminalized drug markets, put in harm reductions. But the harm reductions that they're putting in are not going to actually reduce any harm. What they'll do is they'll facilitate addiction. But whenever you say we want to move the policy of harm reduction, that sounds very good. And people that don't understand exactly what that means are able to get on board with it. That's the point I was trying to make, that whenever the left have a lot of nice terms that would sound good, but how they are put out into rolled out to the general public is anything but good.
Yeah, if you want to reduce harm, you've got to do it yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
I drink, I smoke. I know I need to reduce my harm. I've got to do it my own way.
Yes, well, this is true. You know, it's once a government gets involved with anything and start rolling out policies, everything goes to shit.
Exactly. As soon as you ban something, everybody wants to do it.
Well,
because it's a naughty thing.
No, like, it doesn't really matter what it is. Housing policies. They'll put out housing policies that look good on the face of it, but the rollout is absolutely shite.
Do we actually have any housing policies?
oh, there 100% are housing policies.
Excuse me, but what are they?
Right, what would you like to know? The crate.
Let's just house some people that are unhoused. We can't fucking
Okay,
do it.
right.
We can't do it, can we?
Right. The current policy in the United Kingdom and the points-based thing for getting housed. The first thing you need is you need to be unintentionally homeless, right? So if you just rock up and say, I was living in my parents' house and I don't want to do that anymore, and I want put on the housing list, you're getting pretty much no points, because you've intentionally made a decision to put yourself in that position because you could have stayed with your parents, right? So quick tip, anybody that has adult children that's living with them and want to get housed, the first thing you need to do is give them a letter to take to the housing executive with them that says, my 23-year-old son is doing XYZ. I can't put up with it anymore. I don't want to see him on the street, but I can't continue to live with him or her, and I want them out by X date, which should be in 3 months' time. And then whenever they arrive to the housing executive, they are not classed as unintentionally homeless or being kicked out, and then they attain the points. So number 1 on the list is you must be unintentionally homeless. The next thing that will get you more points to get housed is if you have complex needs, such as a disability. So if you've got a disability, they don't want you living on the streets. So therefore, whenever you put that down on your form and you've got medical evidence to back it up from your doctor, then that goes and that gives you more points. Another thing that will give you a leg up in the points is if you are fleeing domestic abuse. So if you can evidence that in some way or tell your story properly, that will move you up in the points basis. And the other thing is if you are alcohol or drug addicted, that will also put you up in the points. So you go and there's a set thing for points, and they continually house the people who are at the top of the points list, and anybody that doesn't have one of the extra things to give them the extra points, they're never getting housed, because there's a steady stream of people who have got the extra complex needs. So,
Right, I'll tell you now, if you rock off on a rubber dinghy and say you're from Afghanistan, you're gay, you're being abused, you'll be housed before any white fucking people. Definitely.
oh, yes, this is true. This is true because we have, but that comes under the Compact for Safe and Organized Migration.
Fucking crap.
Yep, which is a United Nations compact, which is also why you can't have negative stories about migrants in the newspapers. So if a migrant, there was, for example, in Londonderry 2 years ago, there was a woman that was murdered while she was out jogging.
Jogging.
Yeah, no, well, she was actually out jogging. Right.
Sorry about that.
Right. Yes,
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
right. No, she was out for an afternoon jog for exercise, and somebody knifed her. Somebody stabbed her. Now, what I haven't seen anywhere and all the stuff that's going on about that is anything about the perpetrator.
Of course you would.
Right. I would take a guess that that person was a migrant or of an ethnic minority. But if that is the case and they know who it is, they're not allowed to put that in the newspaper. Because,
what a description. You can't tell who the... Hang on a minute.
Right, hold on. That's illegal. That's illegal.
We're looking for a... bloke.
Yep. Right, yes, but that is illegal. They're not allowed to under the law.
That's fucking
it's
bullshit,
not,
isn't it?
Right, yes, it may be bullshit, but that is currently the law.
It's fucking bullshit.
It happened twice a year and two back when someone was out, well, two people were out stabbing homosexuals, and the police literally couldn't say. He looks like his name might be Mohammed.
Yeah, but the thing about
it is, say it. Who are you looking for? We're looking for a bloke.
Who are they fucking protecting? Who are they fucking protecting?
Right, hold on. But you also need to look at who put that law in there. We signed up to a thing called the United Nations Compact on Safe and Legal Migration. And in that compact, it says you must not put negative news stories about migrants or minorities.
Because
and if the newspaper puts those pictures in, puts those descriptions in, they will be taken to court.
Yeah, so every fucking newspaper, every fucking rape, everything you see about a fucking knife and all that, no idea who the fucker was. Let's just use some identifying fucking words. He was black with a hoodie and a fucking knife. Or he was white with a hoodie and a knife. They don't fucking do it.
Well, the way you got to look at it is, as soon as they won't tell you what his name is or what he looks like, you know what his name is and what he looks like.
Yes, but
As
But
soon
You
as they
don't
want to
until
tell you,
someone
you know.
fucking tells you.
but it's illegal for the newspaper to put that in.
Fucking bollocks. Complete bollocks.
I know it's bollocks, but that's a. I didn't make the chessboard the way it is, but I've still got to
Of course-
play on it
of
the
course
same
you
as
do.
everybody else.
But
No,
it is bollocks. Let's be fair. Let's
Oh,
all agree it's bollocks. If you're looking for a fucking someone has done some crime, you're looking for the fucking the perpetrator. So you're looking for an identification of some kind, and they
Yeah,
should
but-
just put that straight out.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying about the way that the way that things are put out by the left. The way they explain things, what they want to achieve, has got fuck all resemblance to what they actually do achieve, and the people who support them probably haven't looked into most of the effects of the actual policies.
I know what you're saying, but it's fucking madness.
Oh, it is. It is total
Of course
and utter
it is,
madness.
isn't it? It's fucking total madness, mate. Total madness. If you was in, I live in Bristol, so if someone said someone's been stabbed in Bristol and we're looking for a bloke, well, great. Half the fucking population are blokes. The other half population is fucking Sheilas. What you want to know is it's a bloke wearing a dark hoodie with blue tracksuit with a white stripe down his leg with a fucking great big knife in his hand, probably dripping with blood, and he was black or he was white. You
Right.
need the fucking you need the identifying fucking factors, don't you?
Right. Okay. Here's the thing. You live in Bristol. That's where that statue was pulled down and threw into the sea, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Right. Okay. Right. Now, see, here's the thing. See if somebody, and that was all on the news, so everybody could see who it was.
It
Edward
was all the
Colston.
fucking white people.
Right. Yes. Right. But
Fucking
here's the
lefty
thing.
blue-haired white
Right.
people.
See if it was on the news, and somebody that lived in my area was on the TV pulling down a statue and pushing it into the sea. See, whenever they left that and came home, they wouldn't get back into their house. They would be told to fuck away off and not come back near us. And whenever you've got somewhere else to take your shit to, bring a removal van, you can take that out. Don't worry, we'll make sure nothing happens to it in the meantime.
That's how it used to be, but it's not how it is now.
Well, why not?
Too many lefty twats.
Yeah.
Yeah, 42. I'm talking of Edward Colston and the statue.
Yeah.
Here was a man in back in the sort of late 19th century who must have given hundreds of thousands of pounds. Well, maybe no, but in these days, well over $1 million to the city of Bristol.
Yep.
And he gave money to churches, to schools, housing projects for the poor. I mean, he was a great philanthropist.
Well, see.
Yeah, he
But
built the
despite
hospital
that-
as well.
Right. See the hospital.
Despite that, Packer Minor, good evening.
Right.
Good evening,
See
Packer
the
Minor.
see
But
the hospital.
despite that, I'll just finish what I was saying, Packer
Yeah.
42, if I may. Yeah, despite that, it's fine to tear down a statue and the police stand by and do nothing. I mean, that was disgraceful.
Right.
Absolutely,
Well,
Rory, absolutely.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. See the university that his name was on, and they removed his name from, and the hospital. his name-
They removed his name from the streets.
Right. Okay.
The Colston Hole.
Right.
All of it.
Right. See all the stuff that they took his name off. That needed closed. His name was on it because he provided the funds for it to be there.
Exactly,
So-
and he still provides it now.
Right. Yes. Right. Well, see, whenever they take a name off it, you need to fucking close that shit down.
he was involved in the slave trade. Let's be fair. Okay.
Right, yes, well, that's fine. And if you don't want to be associated with him because of the slave trade all those years ago, whenever it was legal, that's fine. But see the stuff that you're taking the name off, shut that shit down as well and build your own fucking new one.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, they're doing that now and wasting money. He was a
No, I mean immediately. The day that
they won't do it. They won't do it.
Right. Well, but that's what needs to happen. And until that is how it works, they'll continue doing what they're doing.
It was really funny that a girl that was very instrumental in ripping down the Colston statue was involved in the Black Lives Matter thing, and she got done for fraud because she nicked all the fucking money.
Yep.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking true.
Well, that's what happened with all the Black Lives Matter money.
Thing is history. Let it fucking be. He was a guy that fucking made a lot of money. Obviously, he was, he invested in sailing and all that. And he done the old thing that everybody did back then. It was easy. He was sailing around, hang on, sail to this country. Oh, rock up on fucking Africa's shores. What? Everyone's selling people? What? The black people are selling black people? Oh, what are they? Slaves. Oh, okay. We can use these. Goes around to Trinidad and all the other countries in the Caribbean. Here's some cheap workers. He done what fucking the black people done years ago.
Oh,
he never started the slave trade. The black people started the slave trade. No fucking realizes this.
No, the black people on the coast became wealthy by stealing black people from further inland.
They went into they called then the dark continent, robbed the fucking people, and sold them off to us, the white people.
And let's not even talk about the people in Peru that went to other tribes, grabbed them, took them to their monuments and fucking ripped their heart out, and chopped their head off and threw it down to the bottom of a thing and went next and did that with the next one.
42. I think we need base dungarees man on right now. Talking about who owned the ships.
Base dungarees? That's a hell of a name.
You must have seen dungarees man, Spanish chicken.
Well, I'm going to say Edward Colston owned Edward Colston's ships. Did you
say that? My daughter went to a school.
If Colston was moving slaves, Colston owned his ships.
Obviously, he did own his own ships.
Yeah, right. Okay. So let's I'm not going to get involved in bullshit about who owned the ships, because it seems that what everybody thinks they know turns out to be fucking false, because there's a lot of people that aren't them that were fucking moving people on ships.
There are definitely people being moved around on ships. No doubt about it. And everybody made a lot of money.
Yep. And we also have very easily forgot about the fact that there was a very large Muslim slave trade, which more people died from than ever died out of the slave trade that everybody wants to talk about. And the
Barbary slave trade.
Yeah, like I said, the English didn't invent slaving.
Yep, and the 3 or 4 million slaves that got taken out of Spain.
No, we stopped it, for goodness sake.
And Ireland.
We stopped the slave trade and spent a lot of money doing it. Not only on the Navy.
It cost us a fucking fortune. We've only paid it off a couple of hundred years ago, haven't we?
Oh, 2017.
Exactly, yeah.
2017, we made our last payment for what was borrowed to free the slaves.
Did you have a slave? Claim back now. Get your money. I'm not saying it's fucking right or wrong. All I'm saying is it was a fucked up time back then,
Yep.
and now we're right. We're right. We know it was fucking wrong.
We can't start judging people from 200, 300 years ago by today's standards.
Of course you can. That's it. That's exactly the point. That's
Yep.
exactly the point. What have you got to fucking do with it? Nothing.
Yep. Here's how mad it gets. If you're overweight, that's not your fault. You've got some sort of affliction. If
No, you're fat.
no, right, no, if you don't get any education, that's not your fault. You were persecuted against. If whatever, nothing's ever your fault for what's going on in your life. But those slaves from 300 years ago, they're totally on you. It's fucking madness.
Not in my fucking world.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Hey, look, I love everybody until they prove themselves they're a cunt. Then they're a cunt. Don't matter what color they are. I ain't racist. Once you're a cunt, you're a cunt. Simples.
I do have quite a strong in-group preference.
In-group preference?
An in-group preference, yeah.
I might have missed some of that. How do you mean?
Well, I would have Ulster Unionists than not Ulster Unionists.
Yeah, like sticking with your own, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you? I'll get that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll get that.
Yeah, that's called an in-group preference. It's what everybody should have.
Yeah, and there's enough wankers in there as well.
Well, but the other thing is your social group should be able to eject the wankers.
My own social group does.
Yeah. Like
that's why I'm here.
Mhm.
But I'm tolerant.
Yeah. Oh, I'm tolerant. I don't quite tolerant until people start causing me problems, and then I become very intolerant, which is probably the correct thing to do. Mr. Bacon, what about you, chum?
What's happening, mate? You all right, boys?
All good. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Yeah, chilled out, quiet. I'm not drinking. I decided.
Oh, are you off it totally now?
I usually do at the beginning.
Streaky, your sound band there.
Next thing you'll be telling Stricky is you've stopped robbing from the local supermarket.
But he does enjoy doing that from time to time.
He does, yeah, why not?
Yeah. But that's it. It's becoming extremely common in London, I hear, Thacker, you know?
Yeah, it's the in thing with certain groups.
Yes, organised.
Certainly trainers and various items of clothing.
Yeah, get yourself some Nike and some meat.
All for free. You'll never be prosecuted for doing it. So why not? Yeah.
No, can't prosecute them. That's racist.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've got to the point where it's now being organised. There's mobs of people turning up in certain streets to do a bit of robbing.
Yeah, I mean, Streaky, to be fair, he's got the best argument ever because he's Welsh, and it's like, is it because I ain't even got my own flag till about 50 years ago?
Well, technically speaking, they're not a country.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No, not just another country. Yeah, but not just another country. It's another country we didn't even recognise for
Yes, I
1,000
agree.
years.
Yeah,
well,
no,
Which is,
it's
which is
Western England.
have you ever read the Act of Union?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's bullshit, and you deserve better.
Right.
However, that's the
Right.
way it went. Like, you know, you're Welsh.
Right. Have you read the Act of Union, which is the document that creates the country or United Country of Great Britain and currently Northern Ireland?
No, I haven't.
No, I have not. I haven't
Please
either.
enlighten us on the Welsh
Right.
angle.
I've read it quite a few times. I've actually read it on this stream twice at least. But anyway, the first one was the Act of Union between England and Scotland.
Right.
And then there was an Act of Union between England and Ireland.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all about movement of goods going back and forward, and there'd be no tax or no hindrance and whatnot, right? So what's not mentioned in any Act of Union is the word Wales.
No.
Wales?
Wales.
It's very giddish. It really is. Because
it's
I like the Welsh.
Yeah,
They're a strong nation of their own people. They take no shit, and yet they are defiantly fucking not recognised by the rest of the country that they are part of.
Yeah, there's a part of England.
Shameful.
Oh fuck!
Get back to the Wales.
Oh, and the other thing, the Welsh and the Scottish, with their fucking before you think the kneeling before the football matches is bad. The Welsh and the Scottish don't sing a national anthem. They sing songs. Because that Flower Scotland, not the Scottish national anthem, and that thing that the Welsh people sing, not a national anthem. The official national anthem of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland is all the same song. God Save the King.
Well, fuck him.
Yes, but their hatred runs way deeper than that.
True enough.
Ugly. Oh, you're brilliant people, Ugly Truth. I really like the Welsh people.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I love the Welsh and the Scottish just for their fucking their no fuck offness about.
Yeah, but I do at times take the piss out of the their constitutional state. And the other thing I'll say is the people that you've now got in control of your devolved Welsh government, as
fucking start that stuff.
yeah, as Anglo as put in, yeah, the people you've got running is are sending you to fucking hell in the handcart. Right. No. We're coming up.
Wales is pretty fucked, isn't it? With the guy who's in control. You got fucking that twat in Scotland. You got that twat in Ireland. I know we're fucked in England, but fucking you lot are fucking laughable.
Well, we've currently pulled our government down.
Well, it's only going to get worse from what I hear, both in Wales and, well, obviously we've got these elections next year. God knows what's going to happen in England, but it's not looking good.
We're all fucked.
Yep, we are.
fuck knows what's going to happen over here. It's getting Scotty Bicky's time. Anyway,
I don't know. If you're in Ireland, you got to fucking sort Ireland out. If you're in Wales, you got to sort Wales out. If you're in Scotland, you got to sort Scotland out.
well, I would rather sort Northern Ireland out. I'm not really that worried about what goes on the other side of that border.
Who are you going to vote for?
Who, me?
Yeah.
DUP and TUV. Democratic Unionist Party and Traditional Unionist Voice.
You make a difference.
Are they two separate parties for it, too?
Yes, they are. But our system is really fucked up and strange, and you can vote for multiple parties.
Oh, so you have a form of proportional representation, do you?
It's not proportional representation. You can't do that in proportional representation. We have a thing called a single transferable vote.
Right, okay. Yeah, I know about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's like that's like the EU elections in England. There was that was a single transferable vote, as far as I recall.
No, it was proportional representation. Each party could put multiple people on the ballot.
The question is, have you got someone you can vote for that you can fucking really rely on?
Yeah. All right. The people that have currently put our assembly down and said they're not going back until we get what they want.
Or the people behind it?
Yeah. Our parliament in Northern Ireland has been closed for approximately 2 years, and the people that I voted for have told them they're not going back until they put the border back in the right place.
Have you got enough backing?
What?
Got enough backing?
Yep. We've got the backing of half the country.
Let's hope it works out for you.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. The other thing is, if it doesn't go like that, things are going to get quite noisy here.
Again.
Yep.
It's time.
Yeah, it's getting it's all getting very quite scary.
Because
recently,
it's completely unlikely the Northern Irish to kick off if they're not doing what they want.
Well,
that's never been known.
Well,
if there's ever proof you don't need a government, it's that they haven't had one for the last 2 years.
Yep. And the last thing, the thing about Northern Ireland in general, Belfast in particular, you can tell what's going on by the writing on the wall. And what the two previous new things to go up on the walls was
literally the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Well, first of all, there was signs went up by the UVF saying that these are pictures of people with masks on and rifles and shit, and said that their current responsibility was to protect the culture of the British people in Ulster. And the second thing was a picture of the Dublin bombings with writing on it said, "A return to violence is a return to violence is a strong possibility." So yeah.
If I had to put money on the last place in the United Kingdom that was still British, my money would be on Northern Ireland.
Yeah. Either that or there's going to be a hell of a fight.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And
they're used to having to fight their corner. That's what they do.
Yep. This is
what you'll do. It's what you'll do when the shit comes to your house, mate.
Yeah, well,
That's what they've always done. They've been doing it for like the last 100 plus years.
yeah, but yeah, 1920. The reason we had partition from the south was because the people in Northern Ireland said formed a militia and declared themselves ready to fight anybody that was willing to cause them no longer to be British. That's how the country was formed, and they're now trying to fuck about and move the border. We've told the reason why the DUP won't go back into power sharing without the border fix is because if they do, they're done as a political party. They'll never get another vote, or definitely not win another vote. So they have to stand their ground. And the other thing about here is we still live in our segregated communities for the most part. We know where we are, we know where they are. And so it's not like, as would happen in most of England, if you were to be under siege, you would need to get a lot of the people that live in your community out because they're not really on your side. Same as what I was saying about in Bristol. If people that live around here were seen putting down a statue like that, by the time they got home, there'd be a crowd outside their door telling them to fuck off. That's still how it is here.
Yeah, 42, quick question. How many, excuse me, how many members of Parliament are from Ulster in Parliament? Is it like about 20?
It's less.
Less than that?
I think it's about 12, maybe 13.
Right, okay.
Not sure.
Because I was thinking, I mean, all right, there's 650 MPs, but you know, if the major political parties fall apart, Ulster's actually going to be in quite a strong position, in my opinion. You know, you could swing the vote. If you can swing the vote, you're powerful.
There was a time whenever not that long ago, during the stuff after Brexit, whenever the Conservative Party was away down, that it was the DUP that was keeping the Conservatives in power.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. But somehow, here's what happened. What the DUP were promised, the fucking House of Lords turned down. Because whenever Boris put up his Boris had actually sorted it out so as the border would be fine, it wouldn't be moved or fucked about with. And he put the act in, got that through the House of Commons, and whenever it went up to the Lords, they rejected it. I think it's the first time ever that the House of Lords have fully rejected a house because they're supposed to be a rubber stamping job, and it was them and fucked it out.
Yeah, I just, you know, I'm thinking ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
We may have a hung parliament. I mean, the Conservatives are going to lose a hell of a lot of votes.
Yeah.
Whether they're gained by the Conservatives or the Lib Dems, or I doubt it's going to be SNP. I think SNP are going to lose a lot of votes, probably to Labour. But if there's not a Labour majority, we get a hung parliament, then you know that puts the Ulster Unionists in a little bit more powerful position. I'm not saying a powerful position, but you know, you can negotiate with them and say, yeah, we'll vote on this issue and we'll vote on that. And if you do this for us, then we'll do that for you. You know, typical parliamentary negotiation, isn't it, really?
Here, Regs, it was the House of Lords. So was it. Boris actually did get a get an act through the House of Commons that would have sorted everything out for us, and the House of Lords refused to send it on. It went back.
Is
it
there
went
an
back 3 times.
Is there an alternative party for Ireland?
What? Pardon?
Is there not an alternative party for Ireland?
Again,
Roster.
For Northern
I'm
Ireland.
talking about the whole of Ireland. I'm talking about the whole of Ireland. Is there not an
the whole of
alternative
Ireland's
party?
not a country, mate.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but with all the cow fart fucking
right.
reduction,
By the
all this
way,
stuff.
the people in Northern Ireland and the people in the Republic of Ireland are different peoples. And if there's a united Ireland, the Ulster people in Northern Ireland will be subjected to a genocide.
I'm looking at the green agenda, where they want to stop all the fucking agriculture, cows, and all that sort of stuff. There's got to be a party that you can vote for that's against all this shit.
Look,
that
would be called the Democratic Unionist Party in the traditional Unionist voice. They're against all that.
Hey, I know you're in Ireland. I know you're North. You're all brothers and sisters over there, really, like we are in England.
Oh, we're not.
On the political side of it, you're not.
Oh, no. On any side of it, we're not. That's why we have big fuck off walls that divide the two communities.
I was telling you boy the other day about the fucking kids going to school with a fucking massive wall between the children going to school, and he couldn't get it around his head.
Yeah,
and I said that's how it is, and he's like, that's fucking mental.
Oh no, that's good.
I know it's true.
No, it's not. It's not just true. It's good. You have to. What you need to understand is that they're two different peoples, and without those walls, you'll have a genocide.
That's a fucking sad thing.
Well, what's sadder is nobody seems to give a fuck about the fact, and has not seemed to give a fuck about the fact that the Ulster British, who are the indigenous people of the island, not the Celts that live down south that invaded in 250 BC, are the people who are being subject to genocide, and nobody wants to seem to do anything about it. And everybody from outside of here seems to think we can all be fucking friends. And I'm sorry, whenever one of the things in our agenda is no existence of my country, no existence of my culture, no existence of my people, I can't be friends with them. And the people who can't seem to get that round their head are very clear, really understand that whenever Antifa is out protesting and they're out waving their Free Palestine flags or they're doing whatever, that they can't go out, that they understand that they can't go and just get on with those people because they're fucking totally different, but they think we can for some unknown reason. Sheepdog saying there's an Irish Freedom Party, the Irish National Party, Ireland First, and others. All all I will continue to say, I have more in common with the boys in the north. So go figure. And I don't. Well, you possibly do. If you're not one of the people that wants to make my country disappear, you probably do have more in common. But if you don't want me to have my country, then you don't. It's it's strange.
It is
42.
very odd. It is very odd that most people are perfectly happy with borders right across Europe, but they can't understand one in Ireland.
Yeah.
I understand it. You're British. You are British. That's what you want to be. You're the same as the Falklands or anywhere else that is British. That's what you are. And I stand behind you on that fact because that's what you are. It seems incredible that people don't understand that. It just seems odd. It just seems like, why the fuck? Why are you arguing with them? You ask someone what they are, they tell you, why argue with them?
Well, exactly, Packer. Fortunately, I was going to ask you, do you really believe that the people of Donegal are that much different from the people of Belfast?
Yeah.
You really think that?
Right. Well, from the Celts that live in Belfast, there's no difference at all. From the Ulster British who are Picts or Cornithii, they are a totally different gene set.
Oh, historically speaking.
No, not through to today.
Genetically speaking.
Genetically speaking.
Yeah, genetically speaking. All right.
Yeah.
But, I was more thinking about what they actually believe in.
Oh, well,
as Irish people.
Rory, we've been fighting this since 250 BC. If we were the same, we would not still be fighting.
We can all be muckers, though, can't we? Surely.
Yes, as soon as they decide they don't want to kill me.
Because I'm on your stream, right? So I don't know you. I don't hate you.
Yep.
You're me mucker.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. I'm there. And Sheepdog. Sheepdog saying we're okay. Me and Sheepdog will get on. That's fine. We're fine. He's happy
I'm
for
not
me to
German.
be here.
I'm not French. I'm not Irish.
You're ginger.
I respect the German, the French, and the Irish, but I am not them. However, I am white European.
Yeah, we just rub along together.
I will draw that line there, but I'm not them. I'm just not. I'm not French. I'm not German. I'm not Irish.
No, but you chat to someone who's German. You chat to someone who's French.
Yeah,
we all just rub along together.
But I'm not them.
Yeah,
but the Northern Irish, they are British. That's what they are.
And we'll rub along with them as well.
Yeah, we'll rub along with anybody that's willing to rub along with us.
Yeah.
Right. See, come and integrate, they tell us. But how can I integrate whenever my culture has nothing they find of value?
It's a lie. It's no such thing. Right, if I move to another country, I can, if I choose, integrate with them.
Yeah.
If I'm in my own country, I have no business integrating with other people.
Yeah, which brings me back to the point I made quite a while ago about I have a very strong in-group preference.
Yeah, everybody does. It's what everybody should have. If you don't have an in-group preference, you're doomed.
Yep. Right. We are now coming up on 2 hours, 45 minutes. And I've been trying to keep the whole fucking Northern Ireland thing out of the thing for a while, but anyway.
You did manage it.
Yeah, we didn't quite manage that tonight, but we did afford anything else that means that this stream needs to go to Bitchute. So I'm going to call that a win.
Mudfloods, anybody?
Definitely a win.
Now, have you any thing that you're itching to get off your chest? Rory, don't mention doors.
I won't mention doors. I only say good night to everybody, and thank you for a lovely stream. And I will shut my wooden door.
Good chat, Rory. Thanks, Packer. Cheers, 42. Hi, mate. I only come in to say I'm a real person. Cheers.
Oh, brilliant. It's been a pleasure having you, mate.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, lovely Spanish. It's lovely talking to someone new.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Don't try to piss out my accent.
No,
we managed to
where is
not do
your
that.
accent? Where are you from?
Well, I'm in Bristol, but I got that Somerset kind of accent, haven't I?
Yeah, Bristol, it don't Somerset ways.
In it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you anything different.
Where they make the cider?
I don't drink it.
But that Somerset is where they make the cider, yes?
It is, yeah. Yeah. They also, down Devon, make the Buckfast as well.
Yeah, they do. Here's one for you, quickly, Spanish Chicken. One of my first jobs, I was an apple picker for a company in Somerset, and they paid me in Strumpy cider. I think I was about 15 or 16 at the time.
Best pay you ever had, mate.
It certainly was. Yeah, we had good fun.
Cheers, Rory.
Well, Packer, do you have any last words?
No, always a pleasure. Lovely to meet Spanish. Always good to talk to Rory. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much. I am going to get the outro up. Get that going. What has? Right. Boom, boom.
This is the ballad from Miss Ballad.
Gets darker. The deeper you go down.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And the finder of lost children.
You only need a light to guide you, and an angel to walk beside you. A day will go down. You want to know the truth, don't you?
I find the evil and the greedy under heaven turning rock, where I spill out the truth, the established. From all sides, I watch the opposition. Terminate the information flow. But the good book reminds me that I am blessed, protected and guided during every quest. In the valley of darkness, my way is clear. I carry a big stick and I show no fear. So prepare yourself for eternal damnation. In your nest of vipers, I found my vocation. Are we so deaf that we cannot hear the screams of the children? Are we so blind that we cannot see? We are living in the depths of depravity. Are we so inept we let monsters roam? Fueled on power and adrenaline prone. Are we so weak we cannot fight back? Beholden to our masters. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. But blessed is he who in the name of charity or goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. The finder of lost children. Innocence. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. But blessed is he who in the name of charity or goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. Of lost children. Lost children. Of lost children. Sick man of family The rabbit hole, the rabbit hole. I dare you to go down. Okay, right. The guests have been the guests. I've been 42. You lot in the chat have, as always, been absolutely fucking amazing. Good night. God bless. See us all next week. And don't worry, sheepdog, when we are good. Okay, all the best. Good night. God bless. I'm out here. Gone. Bye.